So I had an even closer look at it, and it turns out the little bushing piece actually goes on the exhaust valve. There's a little gap at the bottom of the valve. Looks like that little piece will clear the clearance between the gap. This is with both valves down, and the cam is on the compression stroke. So I was looking at the valve seats, and they're pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is lap the valves in. This is a valve grinding compound, lapping compound, same thing. You can get this usually in fine or coarse, but this is I don't know what this is. This is just regular shit. Basically what this does is it seats the valves in with the valve seats, so the valves seal properly. All you need is about this much, not that much at all, and you just kind of spread it around and kind of dab it. So first I'm going to lap the intake valve. So what you're going to do is put it on. You can put a bit on here if you like, but I'll see how this is first. This is a valve lapping stick. You can get this at Napa or any parts store. This is a small stick. There's usually two sizes, a small and large one. Large one's for bigger valves. So you're going to want to stick the stick in the middle, or as close to it. It's just a little suction cup. And you're going to want to twist it kind of quick. And you're going to want to spin it in small increments before you actually pick it up and start dabbing it again, just to spread the compound around a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of hard to determine if it's actually fully lapped, but what you're going to kind of look for is almost like a shiny metallic kind of edge on it, like this. If you see on the very corner of it where it meets, it's almost like a gray metallic shiny metal kind of color. What you can also do is the marker trick, which is what I'll do on the next valve here. Okay, so this is the marker trick. What you can do is take a permanent marker and kind of almost paint or mark just the outside meeting area of where the valve actually meets up with the valve seat. The whole point of this is so you know where you've actually lapped the valve and you know where you haven't. All the black spots kind of show where the valve hasn't been lapped yet, and all the clear spots shows where the valve has been lapped. So that's a really easy way so you can tell if the valve's been lapped properly or not. So after having lapped both valves, I'm gonna now put them back in with the springs and all the retainers and everything. But make sure you don't lap the valves too much, because sometimes you can actually lap them too much and it'll make too much of a spot that's actually lapped with the valve. And also, if you lap it too much, it'll actually make less of a gap between your valve to tappet clearance. There's actually a set valve to tappet clearance. Unfortunately for this engine, I don't know it, so I'm kind of have to go with everything that's kind of going on. But on a regular Breeze and Stratton, the clearance is in the book, and sometimes if you lap it in too much, the valve will actually be sticking up a little tiny hair amount, because the valve to tappet clearance is what controls the space between the bottom of the valve and the top of the tappet, which is inside here. And if that space isn't enough, it's not going to get enough oil between it, and of course if it's too much of a space, the valve will have a delay with coming up, so it'll kind of retard the timing, and it also won't lift the valve up as much as what it would if the valve to tappet clearance is proper. Okay, I just got the hardest valve in, which is the exhaust valve. One good way to tell if your valves are actually sealing properly is if you shine the light here in the port. You can see if there's any light shining around the valve, which there isn't. And if you shine the light at the valve, there's nothing coming in from the port. That's a quick way to tell if your valve's good, or if you should relap it, or if it's sealing at all, you know. Maybe the clearance might be off or something, you know. But yeah, this one was really good. Seems like the more and more I work on this engine, the more I like it. I've never really worked on a Honda, taking it apart at least. I was looking at it, and this is actually a copper ring around this gasket. So it looks like some kind of crush ring, but I'm pretty sure I can reuse this gasket no problem. That's good. I've never really seen a copper ring around it before. On all the Briggs and Stratton ones, it's just the whole thing's just composite, but it's pretty cool with the copper ring. I like it. So remember when you torque down the head, always torque it crisscross pattern, even with a used gasket or with anything, because if you torque it, you know, like kind of one way, what it can do is it can wrinkle the gasket and it can break it. So, but if you crisscross it, it actually tightens the gasket properly and puts everything down, you know, at a proper pressure for all the way around. So it doesn't damage the gasket. Usually there's actually a 3-step torquing method. Same for car tires too. There's actually a 3-step one where you torque it like a low, a medium, and like a high for the full torque. But most people just skip it and they just go to, you know, straight to the torque, or just a 2-step where it's like medium and then hard. But I don't know the torque specs for this, so I'm just gonna torque it till it feels right. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start off doing like a low, medium kind of torque. Then I'll do the stronger torque. Okay, now that I have the head torque done, I just open up the carb. And this is the most shit I've ever seen in it before. Oh my gosh. This thing's obviously been sitting outside for a couple of years. It even smells weird. It actually smells like a dentist office. I don't know why. But that's horrible. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's just disgusting. Okay, so this is the first test run of the Honda. that was really successful.